Welcome back to another one of my videos. As always, these stories are written by amazing writers on Reddit, and I read them to you for your auditory pleasure. Other than finishing this video, do me another favor and go to my friend Austin's channel. He's a great guy, he's been amazing to me since I've met him, and he has his own card shop where you can come hang out and play games, as well as buy different cards like Pokemon and for Magic the Gathering. The shop's name is OA Gaming Emporium, and he's got his own gaming YouTube channel called OAAA. That said, I hope you enjoy the stories. Ciao. The Coded Catastrophe of Hemlock, a town's descent into prophecy. The small town of Hemlock, a dot nestled in an undisturbed corner of the country, had always thrived on its predictability. Everyone knew everyone, and life unfolded at a leisurely pace. Our newspaper, the Hemlock Herald, was one of those quaint local publications, a weekly chronicle of small town events, announcements, and the occasional mystery of a missing pet. It was one such Wednesday, with the scent of rain lingering in the air and the evening settling in, when I fetched my copy of the Herald from the mailbox. Page by page, I casually flipped through the Herald, scanning the familiar announcements and amateur editorials. However, my placid ritual was abruptly disturbed as my gaze landed on a peculiar arrangement of symbols and numbers nestled unobtrusively at the bottom of the page 4. It was an intriguing anomaly in an otherwise predictable page of local news and ads. As a retired cryptographer, the sight of an encoded message in such an unlikely place was irresistibly fascinating. That evening, my living room was a whirlpool of discarded scribbles, cold coffee cups, and open reference books, while I, in the eye of the storm, was consumed by the challenge. The code, after several relentless hours, finally succumbed to reveal a chilling message. Fire will cleanse the old mill at dawn. Disconcerted by the ominous prediction, I attributed it to a tasteless prank, possibly the handiwork of thrill-seeking local teens. Yet, the next morning, as the golden hue of dawn was just beginning to stain the sky, an earth-shaking roar and a plume of smoke announced the terrifying prophecy's fulfillment. The old mill, an edifice that had long stood as a testament to Hemlock's bygone era, was engulfed in a seething conflagration. News of the fire spread like the very flames that had consumed the mill, sending ripples of panic through Hemlock's peaceful landscape. And amidst the chaos, I sat quietly in my home, the chilling knowledge of the code and its predictions searing a hole through my tranquility. The following Wednesday, the Herald carried another encrypted message. The sense of innocent curiosity that had initially lured me to decode the first message was now replaced with a dread-infused urgency. The cryptic message, once unraveled, read, "The river shall claim a life at midnight." I felt a cold dread creep into my veins. I immediately informed the local sheriff, hoping the disaster could be averted. Despite skepticism and veiled mockery, the authorities, out of cautious prudence, increased their patrol near the river. Yet, just as the town clock chimed the 12th hour, we received news that a car had plunged into the river, taking the life of its driver with it. I was now not only a reluctant decoder of these horrific predictions, but also a helpless spectator to our town's cascading misfortune. As the weeks passed, each edition of the Herald carried a new coded message, and with dreadful inevitability, each prophecy would horrifyingly come to pass. Hemlock, once a peaceful sanctuary, was now living under the shadow of an unknown terror. I found myself doggedly attempting to decode the messages ahead of time, hoping to save my town from the next impending disaster. But the questions gnawed at me. Who was behind these encoded prophecies? What was their motive? Each catastrophe left an indelible mark on Hemlock, transforming our tranquil haven into a macabre stage for unfolding horror. Even as I continued to decode and preempt the disasters, I was always a step behind the puppeteer of our calamities. The quest to expose the identity of the perpetrator and their motive became my sole mission. Unbeknownst to me, the most horrifying prophecy was yet to be revealed. The worst was still to come for Hemlock, and I was about to descend deeper into this real-life nightmare. Week after week, I found myself immersed in a daunting ritual of decoding the cryptic messages that mysteriously appeared in the Hemlock Herald. Each unraveling brought forth another chilling prophecy, painting our peaceful town with strokes of dread and despair. I was caught in a macabre dance between the rush to crack these coded nightmares and the helplessness of witnessing their eerie fruition. The terror was taking its toll on Hemlock, the happy chirping of morning birds now replaced by hushed whispers of apprehension. I recall the fateful day that marked a turning point. Another Wednesday, another issue of the Herald, and there it was, the ominous message nestled amidst the trivial local news. Fingers trembling, heart pounding, I set out to decipher it. Hours passed like fleeting moments until finally, the cryptic message yielded to my relentless pursuit. A child shall vanish beneath the light of the moon. The word sent a chilling shiver down my spine. A child? The stakes had suddenly soared to a horrifying level. I rushed to the sheriff's office, the decrypted message clasped tightly in my shaking hands. The sheriff, now conditioned to take my warnings seriously, ordered a town-wide curfew and dispatched additional patrols, especially around the local park and school. Night fell upon Hemlock, and the anxiety was palpable. Families were huddled inside their homes, children kept close, doors locked. The hours ticked by with agonizing slowness until finally, the dread-laden moonlight graced the silent town. The night was hauntingly quiet, each tick of the clock echoing like a foreboding drumbeat. But as midnight approached, there was no news of any missing child. Had we finally averted a disaster? A sigh of relief escaped my lips as the town clock struck 1. Just as I was about to retire, my phone rang, jarring the silence of the night. It was the sheriff. His voice, usually firm and authoritative, was now edged with raw panic. "It's my son. My boy. He's gone missing." My heart plummeted. The realization that we were not safe was a crushing blow. I had failed to protect the innocent. The burden of guilt weighed heavy on my shoulders. We launched a town-wide search, but the child was nowhere to be found. The sense of urgency was overwhelming, the fear of the unknown gnawing at our sanity. Days turned into weeks, and the sheriff's son remained missing. Hemlock was suffocating under the blanket of a horrifying nightmare. Each new prophecy in the Herald only served to intensify the already oppressive dread. In a town where we once slept with our doors unlocked, fear was now an uninvited guest in every home. One day, in the throes of despair, I noticed something unusual in the encoded message, a pattern that I had overlooked. All the prophecies were somehow related to the old stories of Hemlock, tales of misfortunes that had once befallen our town centuries ago. The old mill fire, the river claim, and now the child's disappearance all echoed the tragic folklore. It was as if someone was bringing these forgotten tales to life. I rushed to the town library, poring over the dusty chronicles of Hemlock's history. After hours of sifting through ancient documents and fading newspaper clippings, I found it. A small article from 1823 reported the mysterious disappearance of a child who was eventually found in a hidden basement under the old town hall. Could history be repeating itself? With the sheriff, we rushed to the old town hall. The building, once a hub of community activities, now stood silent and deserted. There, in the forgotten depths of the building, we found a concealed door. Beyond it, trapped and terrified but safe, was the sheriff's son. As relief washed over us, I noticed something on a table in the corner of the room. It was a stack of the Hemlock Herald's copies, a notebook filled with symbols, and a photograph of the former town librarian, a recluse who had disappeared years ago. The truth, as chilling as the prophecies, stared back at us. The orchestrator of our dread was one of our own, enacting his vengeance on the town that had forgotten him. Hemlock would never be the same again. We had been through an ordeal that had left us scarred, but stronger. The haunting codes stopped appearing in the Herald, but their echoes remained, a grim reminder of the nightmare we had lived. Even as the sun set on our traumatized town, I couldn't help but wonder, had the horror truly ended, or was it just the beginning? If you liked that video, then like the video. If you're going to bed soon, sweet dreams. And if you have a full day ahead of you, I hope it goes well. Thank you for taking your time to spend on watching one of my videos on my channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.